Hello, my name is Benjamin Williams, and this is my A-level computing project. First, we'll start off with the login system to get into the application. We'll enter an email and a password. This shouldn't let us into the application because we haven't registered this account yet. We cannot press the login button until the password is a correct length or the email has an @ symbol or a DOS in it. As we press the login button, you'll see that a text prompt appears telling us that our email or password was invalid. As we press this 5 times, the app will prevent us from logging in any further, and we'll have to refresh the application. Now, instead of logging in, let's try and register an account. You'll see us enter a valid full name and a valid email address. For the password, we'll just type password. You'll see we cannot sign up. Now let's try password 123 $. As you can see, as the passwords are different, we cannot still log in. Now, passwords are the same, we can log in. Email and full name also have to be in the correct format. Now we're in the application, let's check that everything works. As there are no notifications to refresh, nothing will appear. As you can see, all the navigation buttons take you to the correct place. Now, let's switch over to the facial recognition program. As we run the program, it will ask us for our email. We'll use the same one we registered previously. It will also ask us for a camera ID. This has to be unique and something you can remember. Let's just use camera 1. We choose a port for it to run on. For the next stage of this, we'll just type Y and copy this link. Once this is done, we can then go over to remote.it. Here in remote.it, we'll need to register our device. As I'm using a Mac laptop, I'll press Mac, but you can use a Raspberry Pi. We then paste the link we previously copied. Once the device is registered, we need to make it public. Connect anyway. Make sure to copy the public URL. Now that we've set up the device so it can be viewed outside of our network, we can then go back to our facial recognition program and re-enter our details. However, this time, make sure to paste the link that we copied from remote.it into the program. This will allow us to view our stream inside the application. Now that we're back in the application, we can go to Add Camera. The camera ID we put in is the same one we used for the facial recognition program. Now when we go back to our camera view and select the camera, you'll see the stream. Connect. And there you can see me. Those are the notifications we received so far. There are no faces in the database, so we shouldn't be able to see anybody. Now, let's get notifications for people we want to see. We'll go to Add Person View. We'll enter my name, and then select the photo of me. For good measure, let's also do another person. I've chosen King Charles, but it could be anybody. For the changes we've made to take effect, we must restart the facial recognition program. Again, we'll re-enter our details. Make sure to keep the camera ID the same and the email the same. We will be asked if we'd like to reuse this camera ID. Here you can see the faces being processed. Only 2 have been found. Now when we go back to our application, we should be able to see the notifications roll in. Selecting the camera we'd like to see. Here's our first notification. Let's try it with a couple of other faces. First, we'll choose an unrecognizable face. This is one that hasn't got any encodings, so we shouldn't be able to know who it is. As you can see, it recognizes it as unrecognized face. As we go through the different faces, you'll see the notifications come through in the terminal. They're not showing in the app because we haven't refreshed it yet. You'll see it detecting 2 faces at the same time. Now let's refresh the notifications. Here you can see all of the notifications we've found in the past couple of seconds. Now let's test the robustness of our facial recognition program. I'll submit a face that shouldn't be recognized whatsoever because it contains no face. I'll name it not a face and submit. As you can see, it was successfully uploaded. I can then restart the facial recognition program. Re-entering my details. As I get through this, you should be able to see that the faces are downloaded and encodings are produced. Only 2 encodings should be produced. There you go. Now, let's test it with the camera and see which ones they recognize. Selecting the camera. Is our first notification, which is just me. Now, I'll show a couple of faces. The first one I'll show is an unrecognizable face that's different to the one that we used before. As you can see, it correctly identifies it as unrecognized. As I return to the frame, you see that I'm recognized. Now, let's try King Charles. Showing him he is identified correctly. Just in case you wanted to see, here are the refreshed notifications. If you slowed it down, you could see that they're all there. Now I'll show you that you can add multiple cameras. I'll only just add one, because I only have one machine, but you can imagine that you can add more. I'll re-enter the same email, but this time I'll use a different camera ID, backdoor instead of camera 1. Here you can see the same files are carried across, so the facial recognition works across both cameras. Instead of submitting a stream link, I'll just do a YouTube video to show that multiple cameras can be viewed. Going back to the application and adding the camera, backdoor. You'll see it appear in camera view. You can select the picker. It does take a little while to load. The notifications are different and the stream is different. Here you can see that the notifications are definitely different. Since I've shown you what you can add, I should also show you what you can take away. Here you can see both camera IDs are there. Now let's remove one of them. Typing in a camera ID that doesn't exist shows us that we can't remove it. Here, we can remove both of the IDs. I've chosen to remove backdoor. Now, it will no longer show in the picker. It can no longer be selected. Now, I will show how to remove people. I'll type everybody's name in and show that they can be removed. If a name is typed in incorrectly, it cannot be removed, and the program gives feedback, as you can see. When a name is removed, you are told. Now, when the facial recognition program is run, I will no longer be detected, and we'll see that in just a second. Stopping somebody from being detected requires restarting the facial recognition program. I'll re-enter my details. Because I've been removed, you can see I'm no longer in the found people. If we show the stream in the application, you can see that I'm the only person in front of the camera. And this is why the only notification should be an unrecognized face. If we go to refresh the notifications, you will see that there's one unrecognized face. I'll now show the facial recognition program a picture of Charles so he can be recognized. As you can see, he was recognized correctly, and he will turn up in the application. Now I'll show you the validation for the facial recognition program. As I end the program prematurely, you can see that the face is deleted. Now I'll enter an email that is incorrect. Firstly, I'll do one with the incorrect format, and you can see that it outputs us in the incorrect format. Now I'll try one which doesn't belong to any account in the database. As you can see, it identifies this. Now, entering an actual email, you can see what happens. Entering the camera ID, I choose one with just symbols. The program doesn't allow this and asks you to re-enter. Now I choose one with more than 12 characters. Again, the program asks you to re-enter. Now I'll try one with letters and symbols, and it rejects it. When the camera ID has already been used for another program, it will ask you if you want to override this and continue, or choose a different camera ID. This input is again checked to make sure that it doesn't contain any symbols and isn't too long. When selecting a port, if you choose a port that is already being used, the program will ask you to enter another port. When the program asks you for which stream link you want to use in the application, you have to choose a stream link, and if anything else is entered, it won't allow you to continue. After this is done correctly, the program will run as intended. As I didn't show you earlier, this is how you can log out of the application. As you can see, you can simply re-enter your details and log back in. For the next feature, which is the Wi-Fi notification when it's disconnected, I've built the application on my phone so it's easier to disconnect the Wi-Fi, but here you can see it being done. Here, I'm showing off the Add Person and the Remove Person views. As I go to select a photo, you'll see that a photo library shows up. There's no videos in this. As I press cancel, I can dismiss it. If I enter the name photo1 into the database, because it is unique, it will allow me to upload the photo. Now, trying to use the same name, it will no longer let me use the name. Pressing the clear button, I can reset the photograph. Changing the name will allow me to enter. Now, removing this person. As you can see, only names that exist in the database can be removed. As a valid name is input, you can see green text shows that the person does exist. As the person is removed, text appears on the screen confirming this. This next part is a test that I forgot to do earlier. It was signing up with the same email twice. Here you can see me sign up with an email that I already have created an account with, and you should see an error message pop up when this is done. You may be wondering why you can't see the password being entered. This is because screen recording blocks it on the iPhone. Thank you very much for watching my video.